Food safety is a big focus for Northwest producers, making sure consumers not only have the best quality products, but products that are safe to consume. Three Washington State University Extension professionals are working to ensure that meals and snacks are safe to enjoy. And for these professionals, proper food safety practices begin in the orchards and the fields where the food is grown. Joining us on the PNW Ag Network hotline is one of those three Wazoo Extension professionals, Claire Murphy, assistant professor and extension specialist in produce safety. And Claire, thank you so much for the time. So in your assessment, how does food safety start in the orchard?
Absolutely. So in my role, I do a lot of work in produce safety, and produce is a commodity that we don't often have a kill step for. So we don't cook it before eating. It doesn't get pasteurized. So when we think about protecting produce safety, a lot of times that starts right in the orchard. So thinking about how we use our water, what is the quality of our water? Are we adding any type of soil amendment to our soil to help with fertility? And where is the source of that soil amendment coming from? So there's a lot we think about that have these multiple uses. So thinking about increasing the fertility of our soil, increasing our crop yield, but might also have that secondary thought of how is this going to impact the safety of our product? And so that is really what I mean when I think about how we need to start thinking about produce safety as early as the orchard or the field itself.
In your assessment, is that something that is not being done right now? Is it not being done very well? How would you describe it?
I think that in Washington, our producers are doing a great job thinking about this. But of course, the science and the legislation always changes. And so it's something that we have to continually keep in mind and continually explore how this is changing, how things like new legislation or changes in the climate or wildfires are impacting this. And so I think our producers are doing a really great job, but it's something that we always have to continually think about and continue to learn about.
I think food safety is something where a lot of us kind of know about it, we hear about it, but can you tell us what are maybe some of the biggest concerns out there about food safety and making sure that we're healthy if food safety steps are not followed properly?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we don't take food safety seriously as an industry, it can result in pretty large-scale public health impact. So we could have a large-scale outbreak, and that could go farther than just here in Washington State. A lot of our producers send their products nationally and internationally, so it could have a really big impact on the public health and the safety of many consumers. It also has a really big impact on our farm gate here in Washington State. A lot of products that are consumed raw, so our produce, it's really difficult sometimes to trace it back to the exact location, the exact farm, or the exact producer. So it would have a really big impact on anyone who sells that product, taking a really big economic loss. So both from that public health point of view of millions of consumers having that risk, it also has a really big impact on the economic viability of those producers here in our state.
And it seems like, Claire, and correct me where I'm wrong on this one, that if food safety is not taken very seriously, it can have not only that repercussion of just besmirching the name of Washington Ag, but it'll have a big economic impact for those producers, but also those people who distribute the food, and it could just cascade from there.
Absolutely. We saw that a lot with some of the outbreaks related to lettuce. It was really difficult for us back in 2018, 2019, when we were seeing those romaine outbreaks, to identify exactly where the source of that contaminated lettuce was. And so it really hit the industry of that region hard, but also those who worked in the supply chain. And so there's a lot of steps that get our produce from farm to table, and it has an economic impact on everyone involved. I think here in Washington, we have a really great industry who's very dedicated to ensuring that they are thinking about and doing everything they can to protect the safety of the products that are going to consumers, especially because a lot of these products that I'm talking about and that I work with are products that we give to, some of our more vulnerable populations, so our young children or our elderly family members. So I think that when I work with the industry, it's really important that they just actively stay involved in learning more as, the science develops, as legislation changes. We just had a change in legislation around how we have to approach our irrigation water. And so I think just staying up to date, working with Extension across Washington State to make sure that they are doing everything they can is just a really great approach. That's part of what I do in my job is I work with producers who have questions. How can I help them? How can I teach them more? And how can I make sure that we are producing safe products?
Claire, for those who are not familiar, can you tell us the role WSU Extension and Washington State University in general plays when it comes to food safety and educating the farmers and producers across the state?
So we have a really great research, extension, and teaching program here. And so what that looks like is between myself and the two other food safety extension specialists, we do a lot of research around topics that are important to our producers or to our consumers so that we can truly understand the newest knowledge about what is going on with some of these mechanisms for how maybe we're finding bacteria in the environment or how they're impacting the supply chain. But with that research, extension is really important. And what that means is we take that research and we help to make it an impact. So taking that research and teaching it to those who can use it, whether that be the producers, helping them understand better storage conditions, or the consumer, helping them understand how to approach something like home canning, or how to approach something like storage of their products in their house. And then we also do a lot of education to these people in terms of just helping them understand the research so that they can make really informed decisions.
Claire Murphy with WSU Extension, thanks so much for joining us right here on the PNW Ag Network.